Hello Aces, Ace Combat Fan here, and it might be hard to believe, but I realize I have not made an analysis of the E3 demo of Ace Combat 7. I've made a video before with some footage from people going to the event and recording Ace Combat 7 gameplay on their phones, but I never did a really in-depth analysis of the mission by itself, so it's time to do that. Now in this video I'll be using two different footage videos. One of them has the F14 and the other one has the F18. I just want to say it now that I really apologize for the video on the F18. It's on novice mode, the player isn't really skilled, and I know it's bad for your eyes, but still, on the good side, it's good that I got lots of dialogue from that video. Now, in case you want to check the original videos without my commentary, I'm gonna have their links added to the description, so let's get this started. I'm going to skip the briefing of the mission because it's self-explanatory and I've already covered previously on my channel. So we have the landing sequence, then again you can choose the F14 or the F18 for the demo mission. But right off the bat, and here is the $1,000,000 question. If we took off from an aircraft carrier as a member of the MiG squadron, how come is our flight leader flying the F-16? How is that possible? Because to my knowledge, the F-16 doesn't fly off from carriers. Who could be behind this conspiracy? Is there a rational explanation for this? Could it be that we belong to another squadron and we just joined the MiG squadron? Or maybe just because it's a demo so it's okay? Anyways, we're gonna have to wait for the game to find that out. Wait, did you see that? Let's go back a little bit. Where the heck did that missile come from? Are we getting planes with optical camouflage in Ace Combat 7?
What's that sound? Look! It's the Gleipnir!
I'm sorry, this is just a joke. It's just a prank. I don't want to confuse the new people to Ace Combat with a reference from a previous game. This missile coming from nowhere should be something that they're still working on the game. Don't take granted for invisible planes like in Ace Combat X. Now, coming back to Ace Combat 7, one of the things we have to talk about are the clouds. The freaking clouds. Clouds everywhere. So I've been getting these comments and discussions. The clouds, you know, they give you turbulence. Is that realistic? Yes and no. It really depends on the type of the cloud. But what really is interesting in the game that I've taken the concept that you can, the moisture you can see in the canopy in either liquid, but if you stay inside the cloud for an extended period of time, it can also become frost and ice. Thus, if this icing keeps accumulating on your plane, you can lose control of your aircraft, you can lose speed, and you might stall, which is gonna limit the time that you can stay inside the clouds. Now, this is really interesting because clouds are just like a cover for your plane. So the clouds, they can break the lock or the heat seeking of the missiles because there's some interference with the tracking. So one of the ways of thinking about the clouds is that they are like the walls of a FPS game. Although in this game we also have to take into consideration the relationship between altitude and the position of the clouds, not just like an FPS game where you can just walk around the map. But basically having a cloud between you and your enemy is like having a wall in an FPS game. You can't see your enemy, nor your enemy can see you. But still, it's gonna be very interesting, I think, to see how that's gonna play out in the multiplayer, on how people are gonna use the clouds to break locks, to hide themselves, although they can't stay there for a long period of time because, like, once more, you're gonna have the icing issue. And you can even see this icing issue on the icing warning indicator in the cockpit. Another interesting thing on the clouds, at least in the single player mode, is that if you go inside the cloud, the music kinda fades out.
Enemy reinforcements. I don't like these odds. Keep your eyes open in those clouds.
We have them on the run. Don't let up.
You heard that, right? I think we have to agree that that sound effect, it's pretty cool. There's quite a different acoustic from when you are right in the middle of the cloud and when you're breaking out of the cloud. It's just, it's amazing to my ears, that's what I want to say. Now, talking more about the lore side of the game, I found it was very interesting that they changed the name of the squadrons. In Ace Combat 4, Erusia's squadrons were named after colors, such as the yellow squadron, the blue squadron, the red squadron, but right now they've changed them to custom names. such as Rigel, Refuel, and Gram, which I thought was really interesting because Gram is an anagram for GOM, or the Japanese spelling of GOM from Ace Combat Zero. On the other hand, OC also had a very interesting name for its squadrons. They had a little bit of a reference to Ace Combat Zero, where they had the Sorcerer and Wizard team, and right now in Ace Combat 7 we have Mage, which is our protagonist squadron right in the beginning, Golem, Skeleton, and Gargoyle, which are some more medieval names, or they have to do something with magic. Another thing I noticed in the game is a new feature from our radar. So if you look on the radar and you activate the mid-range or the long range, you can see there are some topographic features, so you can see the terrain on the map. In addition to the contour lines of the terrain, we're also going to be using the same radar system from Ace Combat 5. That means that when the targets they are white, they are not damaged. When they are yellow, they are slightly damaged. When they are red, they are really damaged. Our allies are blue. And our TGTs, or the targets we must destroy in order to accomplish the mission, they have a circle around them. And I think overall this really helps the player to identify their objectives, such as the TGTs, or identify which targets they should go after, ideally the ones that are damaged the most. Now another thing I noticed about the radar is that when enemies go inside the clouds they disappear, but also your allies, if they go into the clouds they disappear as well. Now let me guess, you don't need to worry about your allies because you don't really need them because you're a good player, but there's one thing in Ace Combat 7 you should watch out for. It's the trees. The freaking trees, because oh god how they look good in this game, the vegetation is awesome. For once, Ace Combat has the trees that the series deserves. And hopefully we can crash on the trees and die, not just pass through them like they are ghosts. And the thing about the trees is that they're using the same software from games like Far Cry 5 or Tomb Raider called Speed Tree. So I'm pretty happy with the graphics. Overall, I mean, Ace Combat 7 looks pretty good, but damn, those trees are sexy, man. Now let's get back to some more Ace Combat 7 gameplay. If there's one thing I've learned playing Ace Combat is that if the mission is too easy, it's a trap.
Eventually.
Seems to be crazy to pick a fight with us. A rabid dog would know better.
You see this? What did I just say? It's a trap. Now I'm gonna make your life easier because I tried counting all these missiles and I got a number around 12. So 12 missiles per salvo. That's a very huge number for a mission update. That's all coming from our great friend, of course, the Arsenal Bird. So not only we have lots of missiles per salvo, the fire rate of the Arsenal Bird is also pretty fast. And let's not forget, the Arsenal Bird isn't just there to spam missiles, it's also there to spam little drones that are gonna make your life tough as hell. Now, if you watched my previous video just talking about the Arsenal Bird itself, I mentioned there that the Arsenal Bird has a capacity of carrying 80 drones. But the interesting thing that I found out by analyzing the demo is that the Arsenal Bird doesn't deploy all of its drones. Instead, it deploys 2 squadrons of 12 drones each, so a total of 24 drones. One squadron is for defense and one squadron is for offense. So if you stay far away from the Arsenal Bird, you're probably looking into dogfighting only 12 UAVs, but if you get too close, you might face the 24. I also noticed that as you shoot down the enemy drones, the Arsenal Bird is gonna keep deploying others to replenish them. Now you might ask, but then why doesn't the Arsenal Bird deploy all of its drones right at the beginning to destroy the enemy? I think there are several possible explanations for this. First, I'm not sure if the hardware is able to operate all of the 80 drones at the same time because that's a lot of processing, but at least one of the ideas. The other one is more lore based because if you deploy all the drones, there are no way for the drones to come back to the Arsenal Bird. There's no arresting system. So once the drones are deployed, they are already committed, and if they destroy the enemy, they have to go back to base. That means that the Arsenal Bird, when it's coming back to base, is not going to be protected by the other drones. So it's keeping those drones in reserve, because maybe there's going to be a second attack on the Arsenal Bird, to which the Arsenal Bird doesn't want to be unprotected. And finally, we also have to take into account the gaming experience, because if you're fighting against 80 enemies at the same time, you might just get overwhelmed by their numbers and the alarm system that doesn't stop ringing. Now, I also want to bring your attention to this quote that I thought was really interesting.
Okay, these guys are definitely a step above the last drones we came across.
So that means that we're gonna have faced drones either in the very first or the second mission of Ace Combat 7, and that Erusia is deploying these drones right in the beginning of the conflict, meaning that they already have that expertise and power of using unmanned aircraft. Also, these drones that they refer to are probably gonna be the MQ-99, which are modeled after the real-life Barracuda. Keeping in mind that there's also gonna be another drone as the fictional drone of the game, to which we don't know the name yet. Now, talking about drones, there's also this one thing that I've noticed. So you guys, maybe you know or not, but I really like using the guns. I really like getting close to the enemies and getting those gun kills. And when I saw this in Ace Combat 7 in the demo, when the drone was getting hit by the bullets, it was shaking a lot in a crazy way, and I think this is one of the least positive things that I've seen. I think that this definitely needs Project Aces to have it fixed, because it just doesn't look good. It's so weird and kind of glitchy. I think so far that's the worst thing I've seen about Ace Combat 7, but I'm pretty sure that they are taking the time to fix that. But on the other hand, when you destroy the enemy units, the explosion effects, they're pretty good. And also, when you get hit by enemy fire or by enemy missile, I really enjoy that camera shake and like the small effects on your plane. I think they are not overly done, and they still give you some adrenaline while keeping your focus on the flight. Now, to finish it up our analysis of this mission, here's a quote for you. So what could it be that made the Mage Squadron so famous already right in the beginning of their game? Why are they being called the Hotshots? What did the Mage Squadron do in the first or second mission of the game? I have my own theories, but I'll let you guys write in the comments what you guys think of it. Thank you so much guys for watching. Hope you have at least noticed or learned something more from this third mission, the demo version of the third mission of Ace Combat 7. If you want to learn more about the Arsenal Bird, check this video I made just about that super weapon. And of course, like, share, subscribe, and see you guys next time.